Okay, on the count of 3, everyone say their favorite video game. 1, 2,
Star
Fox.
Okay. What's the best game console of all time? 1, 2,
Nintendo Virtual Boy.
Oh my god. Okay. Name the greatest lead character in gaming history. 1, 2.
Gex the Gecko.
What? Do we just become best friends?
Yep.
Do you guys want to go do some karate in the garage?
Yep. All right, I'll grab the nunchucks. Welcome back to another edition of the Karate in the Garage podcast. I'm your host, Mason Merrill, and today on the podcast, we are playing Star Fox for the Super Nintendo, the game where animals flying around in spaceships is the new normal. With me today is Weston and Aaron. What's up? Aaron, how you been, man?
Well, first of all, I'd like to say the band is back in town, and I have been terrible. How have you been?
I'm doing good. How about you, Weston?
I'm doing good, but which makes me think if I buy this new house and build a chicken house stage, are we actually going to play like our old set list if you guys come visit?
Yeah,
Dude,
absolutely.
100%, bro.
Absolutely.
Is that a thing? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just basically just playing Chick Magnet over and over again because it's fun.
I still got it. It's like riding a bike, you know? You
Oh
never
yeah.
forget.
I don't remember how to play it. I don't have an electric guitar anymore. I gotta buy one. I'll buy one.
I have plenty.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's
You'll
fair.
be all right.
That's fair.
You'll be right.
I'll bring my eight speakers with me in my bass.
Nice.
Yeah, very good. Okay, so today is National Video Game Day, so we are recording on National Video Game Day. Not the day the podcast releases, but so Aaron, give us a little real estate update.
No,
You
I'd
sound
rather
like-
not.
You don't sound very good today.
I hate it. Okay, so pardon me. The reason I sound awful right now is because my microphone, which is very nice, is packed away somewhere in the tower of boxes that is sitting in my living room right now. I am living out of a suitcase in my own home, literally living out of a suitcase in my own home, as if I was some sort of vagabond, and just drinking bourbon out of a coffee cup with my son's face on it. So that's my life right now. How are you guys? How are you guys doing?
See, that's actually pretty good because it'll teach you, like, every time you take a drink to be responsible. Like, he's like, Daddy, don't get wasted. And
Bro,
you're like,
let's-
okay, son,
No,
sorry
you're
about
giving me way too much credit, bro. No.
It's more like get wasted, Daddy.
Yeah,
See
yeah,
what
yeah.
happens.
Okay, that was a little. You might have to cut that out. That was a little creepy and kind of cute. I loved it.
Which one, him or
Get
me?
wasted, Daddy.
Yeah,
Get
sure.
wasted, Daddy.
Oh man, good times.
Oh,
How about you,
Lord.
Weston?
Oh, man,
How's the Texas heat treating you?
I'm doing amazing, man. Every day's a good day in my book.
Yeah, well, good. That's a great attitude.
That was a really crappy response. I'm gonna be honest. But that's fine.
Oh, wait, you don't like positivity and
That was the
people
most
doing good?
generic. I'm doing great. Every day is great. That was like, I don't know. You sound like you're eating a lot of kale, which is fine, I guess. I don't know.
You don't like kale?
No. I like
I
kale.
love
I'm
kale.
just saying you just sound like you're eating a lot of it.
Well,
You know,
Sierra
eat-
did like just decide for us to be vegetarian for 2 weeks, and so
Uh-huh.
you the answer is correct. So
Have
For
you?
2 weeks?
How have your BMs been? Have your BMs been really good?
what I can say is that rotten vegetables smell much worse than rotten meat. That is a
That's the fact. That is
that is a
actual
fact.
fact.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, my wife's been composting.
Oh, bro.
No bueno.
Your insides are composting when you're vegetarian.
Yeah, it's a good time.
Just think about that.
Yeah, but it's good for you. You know,
Yeah.
you're just moving along.
Yeah, just moving along.
Yeah, it's not bad. Like she
Alright.
made some pretty delicious meals, but
Nice.
we
She's
yeah,
a really
anyway.
good cook.
Yeah, no, she made
Yeah.
like incredible meals. Like it tasted.
So
Yeah.
just for 2 weeks, like before we get into the game, fill me in on that. Why just for 2 weeks?
You know,
The
she was
cleanse,
going to
or-
do it more, but she actually got her blood work back from the doctor after she did it. After we went like to the vegetarian, and it was worse. So
Oh,
Really?
she was like, "Hey, we're gonna have to start eating meat again because my blood
Okay.
work
You're
was
like,
actually worse."
Darn.
I know I was eating, dude. I wasn't completely vegetarian. She was making a lot of it, but I drink 2 protein shakes a meal and eat like steak almost every day. So I was not I wasn't full vegetarian, but just eating like a lot more, just more veggies in general, which I've done in the past, and I feel great on it. It doesn't bother me at all.
Oh yeah,
but
we're vegetarian during the week basically, and then on the weekend we eat meat.
Yeah, and that's a really obviously that's a good healthy way to be. But she just like it lasted like 2 weeks, and then we got her blood work back, and it just wasn't as good as it needed to be. And that's the only thing that's changed. So anyway,
the other
it was
day
good.
Gotcha.
I had Burger King for lunch and hot dogs for dinner the other day.
Oh, that sounds kind of disgusting, but pretty awesome.
Horrible.
So just so you guys have an insight into my life and diet, I'm the fat guy in this group.
Yeah, right. All right. Well, anyway, let's enough dieting talk. But I'm glad you guys are doing well. And Aaron, maybe you'll get your microphone out of a box eventually.
Probably not. No. I won't do that.
Yeah, you're really bringing down the podcast right now.
I know.
Anyway, so we are going to do, as you heard in the intro, we are doing Star Fox for the Super Nintendo this week because everybody wasn't prepared, i.e. Weston, on playing Link to the Past this week.
Oh,
wait. Let's set this record straight because I've heard this BS for two like literally a couple times since we started talking tonight.
Let's do it.
I told Mason on Monday, I said, yeah, I have 2 days. I can definitely play this thing, and we'll just get it done. I know it's a little bit longer format. And he goes, well, like, Aaron hasn't really played it either, so let's just do something else. I'm like, okay, that's fine. Okay. So I got baited into not playing it as much. It had nothing to do with my ability to play this game, but all where Mason was like, yeah, man, like, Aaron hasn't really played it either, so let's just do something else. I'm like, whatever. I don't really care enough, So
I'm just giving you a hard time.
I played the first half of the game and then had to reformat my computer and lost my save file and then played the first half of the game again.
This is your problem because you don't have a Nintendo Switch, though.
I have a Nintendo Classic, but it is packed away. So I am forced to play it on by other means. So.
Yeah.
Here we are.
Well, anyway, I'm just giving you guys a hard time. We're playing Link to the Past next week. This week we're gonna double up on our Star Fox, which was all in all a terrible idea. But,
it's bad.
Yeah,
really
bad. It's like winning the Super Bowl and then coming back the next season and just being terrible.
It was
that's
just not even making the playoffs.
It was like Kanye said, "You win the Super Bowl and drive off in a Hyundai."
Exactly. Okay, so today's game is Star Fox for the Super Nintendo. It was released in North America on March 26, 1993, produced by Nintendo, obviously, and it's like for this game, just I'll start off by saying it was trying too hard to be a 3D video game.
Yes.
I agree 100%.
So basically, it's just like Star Fox 64, just not very good graphics. Yeah.
It was just one generation too early.
It was. Yeah. I mean, it's just like the textures are so flat. Like every Super Nintendo game you play, like the textures are really great. The colors are there, and then you play this, and everything's just so flat. And then there's just like a flashing yellow light that you have to shoot your blue bricks at. It was just lame. It was just lame.
Yeah. The idea of the game was like literally just like Star Fox 64, but again, it was just one generation too early because you're right, they tried to do a 3D thing which was cool, and in some ways it was like they almost were there, but because it put so much strain on the system, I had massive frame rate drop. Like it was almost unplayable at a couple points in the game. Like the frame rates were horrible. So
so basically kind of like Star Fox 64, there was it was a rail shooter, so and then you would go through the levels and there was like a path you would follow on the map, except on this game, instead of doing secret things to get to different paths in the level, you would just pick which path you want to follow, and eventually you would end up on Planet Venom, which is the same ending planet. So a lot of the planets and solar systems and things like that are the same as in Star Fox 64.
Right.
You're joined just like Star Fox 64, you're joined by Falco, Peppy, and Slippy. And those are your buddies, and they talk to you throughout the game. No voice acting, but they talk to you as you're fighting in like little speech bubble type things. And yeah, you're just trying to get through the levels as best you can, as well as you can kind of like make out what's going on throughout the level. So I think one thing for this game, they should have just made it like a 2D rail shooter type thing. I think it would have translated better, almost like a Mario Kart or like F-Zero did, with like having like that kind of animation rather than trying to do the 3D thing on a Super Nintendo.
Yeah, there's plenty of like over the top, or I mean like overhead 2D shooter games that like 1942 and 1943 and that whole series and games like that, Galaga, where you're playing overhead. You have the background down below, and you're flying through obstacles, and you have those like bullet hell, quote unquote, type games that I feel like this system would have benefited from a lot more than what they tried to do. It was very ambitious. It just kind of fell flat.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
For sure. What do you think about that, Weston?
Yeah, I feel exactly the same way. Like it was ambitious, and I know that I'm sure, and I thought too, probably playing it now was like rough. Like it didn't translate really well. But I'm thinking like, man, in 1993, would have this been at least kind of cool? Yeah. Probably. I think this would have been pretty cool. Like I don't see this being like a terrible game in 1993. It's just like the problem now where a lot of the other games that we've played, like they're really smooth, and this was not smooth. It was like really glitchy. The only level that I was actually pretty impressed with was Venom. Mm-hmm. Like the Venom was actually pretty good. Like it looked a lot better, but some of the middle levels. I'm sorry, the first level, Corneria? Is it Corneria? Yeah.
Corneria.
Yeah, it was very flat, just like Aaron was saying. It didn't play that well. The ship didn't really respond like exactly how you wanted it to, whereas like Star Fox 64, it pretty much did exactly what I'm thinking that it was going to.
Yeah.
I did like how you could kind of choose your path. I think I would have liked that from 64 too, just where I could have just chosen like, because it had 3 different paths in the game, rather than just having to go on the level with it. And then also the second one, the asteroid field, that one looked okay too, because you're just in space and it kind of fits it.
Yeah,
like they didn't have to do too much because it was just a space model, so that one looked okay as well. But all the ships and everything, I mean, it just, again, it was one generation too early. It was the concept of it was really good, and then I also didn't like how like the voice, like, because there was no voice acting, like the dialogue for Fox and all them, it was just kind of crappy. Like it wasn't really good writing either.
It wasn't engaging, like we talked about a lot with the Star Fox 64. And I did think it was a lot better in the asteroid fields and things like that. But one thing about it was it felt like it was moving too fast.
Yeah.
In 64, you kind of in those type of levels, you were kind of gliding and you could kind of go at your own pace, whether you sped up or go. But those asteroid fields just felt like they were coming at you, and you're like avoiding this and dodging that, which made you have to be a little more tactical. But at the same time, it just felt like too much coming at you at once.
Sure.
Yeah, for real.
So, yeah, I mean, we can kind of just go down the list. As far as presentation with this game, they really did try to establish, like, a story, and in between levels, there were, like, cut scenes where the commander would talk to you, and General Pepper, sorry, that was his name, and kind of the same format. Yeah. The same format is the Star Fox 64 with that, except it was only ships in this one. You would only fly around. There was no tank levels or anything like that.
Yeah.
Thank goodness.
I like the tank level. Come on.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think it would have translated well with the way they.
No, it wouldn't have. But
you don't think so? Because I thought the tank might do the best, just because you would at least be on the ground and you wouldn't have to have been actually flying. You could just kind of go side to side and then up. I think it would have been better than the flight.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know. It wasn't in there. I'm just thinking like it it was just more suited to the SNES than like the
We
flying
should
3D.
find an SNES tank game and see if we can compare
Well,
the two.
actually, Star Fox 2 on Super Nintendo had tank levels.
There you go. There you go.
I'm not playing
I
that.
need
Yeah,
to
I
play
think-
that still. I actually have
Yeah,
that.
I'm not, but I think we made a huge mistake in not playing Star Fox 2 because it looks a lot better.
Yeah.
I was looking at it afterwards and I was like, oh man, I think we should have done this one.
Well, I
But
know Star
it's-
Fox 2 was like not released in the US, I don't think. Or it was completely unreleased, and then they put it on the Super Nintendo Classic. I know, at the very minimum. I don't know.
Let's see. Yeah, it wasn't released in the United States at all.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's good to know. 'Cause
Until
I don't remember it being here, so I'm glad you said
yeah.
that.
Yeah, it came out Super NES Classic Edition and then the Switch, obviously, in
Mhm.
December.
Okay.
But yeah, that's interesting. But yeah, so this game wasn't it wasn't that much different of a format of the Nintendo 64, but it was just very stripped down and like they were like I said, they were just trying to do too much with the graphics, and it really wrecked the
Yeah.
playing experience.
Yeah. Agreed.
Agreed.
But if I was looking at this back then, and I do remember playing this, and it didn't hold my attention back then either. Like I was not interested, after playing this, I don't know. And that's why I was pretty hesitant when Star Fox 64 came out back in the day, because I was like, oh, I don't know about that game, and then I got it, and obviously it was a gem. But yeah. So as far as the presentation of the game, I like Weston said, it was kind of like lackluster. It wasn't really that engaging with the cutscenes because they were written out. I didn't mind their animation. It was I like that old vintage type animation.
Yeah.
With the like the character where it showed their their faces and stuff. I like that kind of animation and stuff. I thought that was neat. But
I found the animation. I just didn't. I didn't really like the dialogue.
No,
Yeah.
that was annoying. I mean, like, especially during the level, like mid-level, when it would just like,
Yeah.
Peppy would pop up and it'd just be like,
And it would literally say
Yeah.
like croak. It would,
Yeah,
it would
yeah,
just
yeah.
read croak. I'm like, why are you making?
It was
I mean,
annoying.
because all of them, all the characters in 64, you actually like kind of like all of them. None of them are just like absolute. He's just like, hey,
I
Star
hate all of them.
Really?
I hated all of them.
Oh
Yeah.
man, I completely liked all those characters, and at least they had a purpose in
Okay.
in 64.
Okay, so here's the thing. So I wasn't here last week for the N64 version, so you guys are gonna hear my quick take on the N64 version. All right. I love the gameplay. It was very tight. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I didn't feel like it made sense that gold rings, if you didn't catch 3, carried over to the next level, but your health going up didn't go over to the next level. Didn't make any sense to me. I felt like the bombs were useless, which was really lame. The voice acting, though, which is what we're talking about right now, was obnoxious mid-level because
That's funny.
because they kept on about it, and they're just like, Star Fox, you need to save me. I'm getting shot at. You need to get this guy off my tail. It's like, bro, you are a starfighter pilot. Like, you're just as good as me. Please kill the guy. Like, I don't need to come save you constantly. I don't understand, like, why I need to be your savior. And the Super Nintendo didn't have that, but it still had the annoying, like, low voices. So,
Oh, that's so funny. Did that bother you, Mason? Like the voices and
No,
stuff? I really
not at
liked
all.
them. They were so
Oh.
nostalgic,
Yeah.
and they like. I
And
was
it-
like, I got you, Peppy. Come here, buddy.
Yeah,
It
I was
annoyed
gonna
the
say
crap
too,
out of it.
But see, those were markers in the game. Okay, so
Sure,
there was
sure.
different paths you could take, and so if you saved Falco
True.
in the first level, you would go the path of Z. You save Falco, and then you go through the waterfall,
Mhm.
and you go to the path of the Z
Planet.
solar
Yeah.
system, and all that. So that
Sure.
was kind of like what that was all about. Really,
Well, that's
in the
fair.
end. It
That's
was-
fair.
Yeah.
Also, what is
So-
Falco's problem? Because he's such a jerk to Star Fox. And it's like, why do you employ this man? Like, why is he here? Why are you giving
'Cause
him
he's a
a
good
paycheck?
fighter.
He is a complete jerk to you. He is disrespectful. All right, he's
because
insubordinate.
Fox versus Falco in Super Smash Bros. Melee 15, 20 years later is the best matchup. That's why.
He's insubordinate. This
Pretty
is the
much.
military, and he has no place to be there. That's all I'm saying. All right, I'm done.
Hey, he's been through some stuff, all right? He's
Man,
jaded.
it's Falco. Come
He's
on.
just-
We're all jaded.
He's
okay?
lost his friends, all right? He's
Look.
watched his friends die
Look.
in war.
I've
Okay,
watched my friends die.
he's a bird man who has been in war, and he's just lost a lot. All right,
Okay.
so he's just a jaded dude, but he's a good fighter. So Star Fox keeps him around. You
I
know.
don't know. I've killed some of my friends in real life, and I'm fine. I don't know.
Wait.
Wait.
I really want the Falco one shot. Okay, I want
Let's
the
just-
game
let's
that's
gloss
all about
over that.
Falco.
Let's just gloss over what I just said.
Yeah.
Yeah,
See,
I was pretty
this is
much
why
gonna
we
do
needed
that.
Aaron last week because like me and Mason were like, yeah, man, just love this, and then
Yeah.
Aaron comes out of nowhere, hate Falco and hate their voices, and I'm just going, wow, this is why he's here. This is why
Look.
we allowed him to come back into the fold. We've allowed him to come back in the pasture with us, man, because of his nonsense talk all the time. I love it.
Okay, don't get me. I would give the original one a good 8 out of 10. I thoroughly enjoyed playing it. Don't get me wrong. The
The
floating.
original.
64.
Or I'm sorry. No, I'm 64. I'm sorry.
I was
The-
about to say.
When I say the
What is
original,
wrong
I
with
mean
you?
the original one.
The
that we
original
played,
good one.
N64. The original good one, yeah. But like a good 7 or 8 out of 10. The floating monkey head in space made no sense. The voices annoyed the fire out of me. But other than that, it was fun. Like I thoroughly enjoyed playing
Aaron,
it.
Fox's flying spaceships makes no sense.
Okay. All right.
Wait.
Fair
Why
enough.
did the monkey make no sense when they're all animals? He was
Okay,
just the
yeah.
monkey animal. Like,
It's just a giant floating monkey head in space. It doesn't make any sense.
every one of those games, it's the same one. This one just had a regular head because they couldn't find the pixels for the monkey head.
Well, I get it was creepier in the Super Nintendo version because it's just like a floating geisha mask.
Hey,
It's
hey,
terrifying.
Literally, the plot in the booklet says this game takes place in a fictional solar system called the Lilat System, which is inhabited by anthropomorphic species such as foxes, frogs, birds, rabbits, and apes.
Okay,
What doesn't
appreciate
make
that.
sense about that?
I appreciate that. However, the logic dictates that these guys are in fighter airplanes or whatever spaceships because they can't breathe in space. And yet there's a giant floating monkey head, no body, giant,
Dude, he was
floating in
Well, that's his
space.
shit.
he was the
I don't-
scientist too, dude. He's this crazy, evil, demonic scientist, bro. Like if
Look.
anyone can just blow up into a head and be able to not need a spaceship, it's this guy.
You guys are really trying to bring logic to this, and I don't appreciate it.
Oh, haters gotta hate, dude. It was.
It was a great game. I loved it.
Oh, good. I'm glad
All
you
right.
loved it, even though it's you can have it was a great.
I have
game.
I have to pick it apart a little bit because that's just my style. But I really 7 or 8 out of 10 would play it again. Thoroughly enjoyed
Okay,
the
good,
64
good,
version
good.
of it. Really, really did. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm glad. Okay. So
Yeah.
what I can say about the Super NES this week is I'm glad it was invented because it led to other ones. And by the way,
Yeah.
I don't know if I wanted to ask you guys a question. Have you played the next iteration, the one on GameCube? Because I just came across it on a couple of YouTube videos, and I'm like, this looks really good too. Like,
No,
Mm,
but
I don't know.
also I read that the Wii version is a reboot of 64 and this game.
Ma-
So there's been 3 reboots of this game.
so
Yeah.
maybe it's
Dang.
the Wii version that I was looking at. Yeah, it was. I think the Wii remote version because I saw it on YouTube and I was watching it, and it looked very similar to 64, but just with better graphics and better, obviously, like worlds of control. And I was like, this thing
Yeah.
looks really cool. So we may have to just on one night check that one out too.
Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
that'd be fun to play together. Jump on, play.
I'm not gonna play it with you, but I'll play it.
We could play it all together. It'd be fun.
I don't want to do that.
We still have our Blitz showdown when you get here, so
I'm not gonna do that
Oh yeah, you are.
either. Mason's gonna Mason's like twice my size. If you guys don't know us in real life, Mason's literally 2 of me, and he will just strap me into a chair and make me play Blitz with him. It's fine.
100%.
most likely. I mean, I think Weston's more of 2 of you, and I'm like in the middle. But okay, that's
I
cool.
mean, you're like a foot taller than me, almost.
yeah, definitely a foot taller than you. That's
Yeah.
for sure.
I beat you in arm wrestling like 5 years ago, but I don't know since then what if
Yeah.
you've been eating your Wheaties or not. So.
Dude, that's all
I mean,
he
we
eats.
literally just talked about like I'm a vegetarian on the weekdays.
That's true. That's true. What's that
Oh, man.
song? Your boyfriend's a vegetarian, but I'm not scared of him. remember that song.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know.
But anyway, I really want to play that Wii version, and there are some GameCube versions that are more like adventure based,
Yes.
where you're not in the ship all the time and things like that I would like to play as well.
I feel like those got really bad reviews when they came
Did
out.
they?
I
Star
feel
Fox
like
Assault
they did.
was the one in 2005.
Yeah,
and it got really good reviews, is what I'm looking at. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, maybe, I don't know.
I like the series. This game just it wasn't it, man.
Yeah.
It needed to be there to obviously maybe just boot the like, because I know when it came out, it had hype. People liked it. They're gonna buy the next one that came out. So it kind of led the way. But as a game for us to like play again or play together, it wasn't it, Coach.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah, I feel like I would have liked this more if I hadn't just played the N64 version.
Yeah,
you know,
I think so too.
It kind of ruined it for me a little bit because I was like,
I don't think by much, but definitely because we just played like a good one where I was like, man, I love this game. I was just the entire time I was just comparing it. I was like, oh, this is just the premature Star Fox that I don't even want to play.
Yeah, and literally 64 is just a reboot of this game, so most of it was actually the same game. You know?
Yeah,
it really was. Yeah,
it's just like redone well. That's basically it.
Yeah. So, all right. Do you guys have anything else you want to talk about? I think we covered it pretty well. You know, just like we didn't do like a straight rundown. We kind of just had our feelings about it.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. I prefer to rant.
Yeah, the music wasn't like absolutely horrible. It was fine. Like
it wasn't
for Super Nintendo. I think that it wasn't like horrible. It wasn't great, but that's the last thing that I always play with music on with it up, and I didn't get annoyed by it. It was okay.
Yeah, it was alright.
It wasn't like like you said, it wasn't annoying to me.
The boss music was actually pretty so the boss music, if it was actually orchestrated and not digitized on the SNES, and again, this is a point to the they just tried to do too much with Super Nintendo, but it led to some great things. But the boss music would be so phenomenal if it was orchestrated.
I'm pretty sure to it. No, they've done Star Fox orchestral versions, and they are very very good.
Yeah, like when you're listening to it on the Super Nintendo, it's just like a little bit too pitchy. It's a little bit too high with the treble and what have you. But like if you added some bass into that, it'd be a lot more daunting and a lot more interesting. And the music is there. It's just not ready to be released. You know, on a Super Nintendo, you have to wait a little bit for that. But otherwise, you know, it is there for sure.
Agreed.
Yeah. And okay, one thing about this though, the box art is super creepy.
That's weird.
Super creepy. I like the logo. I think the logo's awesome.
But why does he look like? Why does he look like the? You know how like Sonic when they first made him was?
Yeah.
It looks exactly like that.
Yeah.
Except like, you know what I'm saying? Like it's a version of Star Fox. Be like, whoa, this doesn't look right. Something's off here.
They were trying to be too realistic, like Star Warsy type thing, and it looks like they dressed a doll up. You know.
Yep.
Or
that's horrifying.
A person was actually wearing this.
Yeah, it's
oh my
it's a
God,
rough one.
that is horrifying. I'm looking at it now.
Just do the animation they had in the game, you know? Just like animate something cool. Or like they did on the second one.
Yeah.
Star Fox 2 box
art. The Star Fox 2 box art is actually like,
just the art in general in that game is actually really a lot better. So.
I don't know about
I think we made a huge mistake.
Yeah.
Anyway, so let's go ahead and rate this thing. And I'm going to rate it with monkeys, like, you know,
monkeys,
monkey heads,
the evil monkey head. Yeah.
Was there an evil monkey head in this game though?
Dude, don't just go with it.
A creepy white mask.
This is it, Coach.
All right.
So I'm gonna give this game a 3. It was a 3 for me. So. It just didn't make it. It just didn't make the cut. I remember not liking this as a kid. Just the whole thing. It like I said, I give it a 3 because it started out what has been a great franchise.
Mm-hmm.
But all in all, the game was just super hard to play. Weston.
Yeah, same. It's funny that we're right on par. 3 for me. I thought this I like the franchise and I want to play even like the GameCube or Wii's N64. I think they're good games. I like the characters. It's Fox and Falco, and all of them are iconic in Smash. Like that's like my favorite, one of my favorite characters. I enjoyed it a lot, but or the other games, but this was a 3 for me. It just has no replayability value, and I didn't enjoy it while I was playing it. It just was a setup to something, obviously good to come, but it wasn't here.
Mhm.
All right, Aaron.
Oh, it's my turn. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I feel the same as you guys. I'm actually going to give it a 4 because
Wow.
I feel like it was very ambitious and it fell flat, but I appreciate the attempt quite a bit. And it led to great things, and that's really, I think, where the heart of it is just they tried to do something on the Super Nintendo that they shouldn't have, and it shouldn't have come together, but they did, and then that launched a whole series that's terrific. And so I'll give it a 4. It was a good attempt at a precursor that pushed the boundaries.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. And what was your Star Fox 64 ranking?
I said 7 or an 8, so 7.5 out of 10.
Okay, cool. All right, awesome. Well, yeah, this was kind of just like a pinch hitter game that we did, just kind of threw it in the mix as a last minute type thing. But, I'm glad we played both iterations of them. I'm just never going to touch this game again. So I don't have no question marks on my head about this game at all. So.
Yeah, agreed.
All right, cool. So next week we are going to do some Link to the Past. Is that cool with everybody, or should we push it another week? I'm down either way. Like, I don't.
We're doing it next week.
Sounds good.
And Aaron's gonna be on the road, so we'll phone him in.
I will literally be driving a 26-foot U-Haul truck while doing this podcast next week. It's gonna be dope,
dude.
I've got it set up where I can put you. What's that?
No, you're gonna have to do a special podcast of how like selling a house and moving across the country in like 2020 with COVID-19. That's got to be a legit like weird experience. Like you got to be feeling real strange right now.
Oh, I do. Well, the thing is like when you're I was told by my lawyer today, it's like we're not like, if you've ever bought or sold a house before, you're all in the same room, you're signing the paperwork and everything, and no, not for COVID. You go in separately, or you pre-sign and fax it or mail it in or what have you, and it's very strange. The whole thing is very very different than what we're used to. So I don't know how else to explain it. It's a very strange situation.
Yep, it's definitely gonna be interesting. But when we're doing this podcast next week, we're gonna phone you in for sure, because
absolutely.
I've got it set up where I can put you into my mix and we can record it. So.
Oh, cool.
But yeah, so Link to the Past next week. Everybody good with that?
Absolutely.
Good.
You know what? Actually,
right.
I changed my mind. Let's do Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2. Let's do that.
Okay. I've logged a lot of hours into that game, so like I could talk about it, I guess. Okay. All right. So I just a couple of news items this week. They're doing a Fallout television show on Amazon Prime TV. Did you guys see this trailer?
Yes. Excite.
Or
Much
teaser.
Excite.
Yeah, it looks pretty cool. I really like that Fallout kind of feel. I hope they do it some justice.
Yeah, me too. I'm really excited about this like kind of new generation. It's weird because like they've kind of, I feel like, maybe run out of really good iconic books to make videos or I'm sorry, movies and TV shows about, are starting to turn towards video games, and I'm excited to see the video game TV shows and the video game movies and things like that. I don't know how good they'll be or how quality they'll be, but yeah, it should be interesting. I'm excited.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely like it. What do you think, Weston?
Yeah, no, I do too. I see. Here's the deal. Like, there's 3 in just the movie and show space. There's 3 companies that make good movies: Amazon, Netflix, and HBO. And right now, the quality of their like programming on all of those is very high. and it seems like they understand their audience with video games and everything else right now. So I'm very hopeful that this could be looking good.
Oh yeah, me too. And I completely agree with you. I mean, those three companies, Hulu, their originals are kind of like fine, and then everybody I feel like has a streaming service. I mean, there's probably 50 different streaming services that you could subscribe to right now,
Yeah,
and
but
they're all fine. But
I mean, but the big three, the Netflix, Amazon, and
yeah,
HBO, they're making like legit quality shows,
oh yeah,
like very very well written, directed, and there's big actors in them. So I'm very
yeah,
very much in the camp of this is the new normal, and they're putting like these
mhm,
a lot of content because they want people to pay for their stuff, and
absolutely.
it's going good. So and just
It
video game movies, comic movies, all those they've just I think they get it now. So I'm pretty
yeah.
excited that they can hit the mark on this one.
Absolutely. Well, and I think that like the whole like quote unquote nerddom has kind of taken over. Yeah, I mean at this point, I mean especially with Marvel movies and things like that, everybody's completely on board with sci-fi and fantasy stuff. Between like Marvel movies and like Game of Thrones is really big, things like that, that have really
Mm-hmm.
taken over pop culture. It is interesting to see, more and more video game movies and TV shows come to light. And I especially I appreciate the fact that it is going to be a TV show because a lot of the games, I mean, especially like something like Fallout, I mean,
Yeah.
that's a 30-40 hour game or so, depending on which one you're playing. And so to be able to build all of the storyline and the content into that, it's nice to have a TV show versus just like, an hour and a half, 2.5 hour movie.
Yeah. Yeah, and especially like you said, how if they I don't know if they're going to this is going to be an entirely new story or if they're going to base it on like Fallout 4.
Hmm.
Um but that the first time I played Fallout 4, I was like this would be an awesome TV show. This it
Yeah.
kind of reminds you of that Losty mixed with, a little more uptick in just
Hmm.
how the thing works. It's just it, I was just like, man, this would be a cool TV show. I don't think that like a game like Fallout would work as a movie.
Yeah,
I think
yeah,
there's too much to it.
you take your time too much, I think, is
Yeah.
it to make it into a movie, and that's the thing. And you're right. Like, I mean, really, any of the Fallout games, at least that I've played, because I've played, 4 and 3 in New Vegas, like any of those games really could translate well into a TV show as far as the storyline is concerned.
Yeah.
It's got good action, it's got good story, it's got good drama, things like that. So
Yeah.
I mean, they could definitely turn that into a multi-season situation at the end of the
Yeah.
day.
Yeah, and it's something like you could add storylines to it so easily because it's like, oh, this person also survived the fallout and all
Right.
that. So, like you could add new characters and keep it going for a while. Like
Oh,
and do it
absolutely.
like it kind of like I it's funny top of mind. I've been rewatching Lost a little bit just because I haven't
Mhm.
seen it since I've like really. Yeah, I kind of wanted to revisit it just because I was like, was this really a bad show or was it actually really good and just had a terrible ending?
Yeah.
And it kind of would remind me of that feel because how they would add new characters because simply they were just on the other side of the island,
Right.
things like that. So I think almost like a Walking Dead-ish type thing.
Yeah.
Fallout. I think this has a lot of potential. I
Yeah.
just hope they make it well.
So speaking
Yeah, I
of,
do
Get some
too.
good actors.
what's funny is like Lost. Here's the other like Heroes that like the first 2 or 3 seasons on that one
Hmm.
so good, but it just kind of ran off to nowhere. It's funny how
Yeah.
like and even like Walking Dead. I know a lot of people like Walking Dead, and I
No.
I've seen it and definitely was hyped about it, but then it tapered off eventually. So
Yeah.
it's very hard to like end like Lost. It's very hard to end a show or all these other shows. Like the first couple seasons, they just are so good, but then they get new writers or
Hmm.
they just don't know where to go
Yeah.
with the show. So I think that's pretty common. That's why like
Yeah.
there's very few shows that have ended and everyone's like, "Wow, that was so good," It's like the
Yeah.
Yeah.
journey's
Well,
always better than the destination.
yeah. And I
Yeah.
and I don't know
I agree.
about I never watched Lost. But I watched a decent amount of Walking Dead, like the premier, like first like 3 or 4 seasons. And I think the problem with that show is that they had, the first, second, and maybe third season were condensed to a certain extent. And so they were a lot more thrilling. And then they started to expand and add more episodes so they could fill more time and fill more advertising. And they quote unquote took their time with it, but really they just drug it out. And that's the problem I think with a lot of these shows is they're not adding more episodes to add more content. They're adding more episodes to drag it out, and it sucks. And that's why I lose interest in a lot of shows because they wind up just falling flat at the end of the day. They're not as interesting because there's not as much happening in them. And
Yeah.
so and I could see a Fallout type of show doing that if it wasn't
Yeah.
handled correctly. You know what I mean? So
I think they need to have like a 3-season vision with a show like this.
Yeah.
And like picture the beginning and the end and then fill the gaps in enough to
Yep.
where it'll make sense through the whole thing.
Exactly. And Weston brought up a good point with like Heroes. Like the first
Yeah.
season 2, maybe like 2.5, 3 seasons were fantastic, and then it just kind of petered off because it's like this is super popular. Let's keep making episodes, and then they just kind of like this isn't very good.
Yeah.
We're just filling time at this point, and it just kind of falls off until it gets canceled.
In a show like Heroes or Lost, a lot of the main characters got really big after those shows. You know, they really skyrocketed to a different level, and they just want to move on. You know,
Right?
And so it's just you don't get the quality as you get out of that first season of Heroes. You know,
Right.
that first season, me and Weston bought the DVD and watched it in a day.
Mhm.
You know,
Oh, it was so good.
Or in
Oh,
a couple
yeah.
days. You know,
Like,
but
yeah,
it was
I mean,
just-
literally within as much as we could just watch it and like eat and do
Yeah.
other things.
Absolutely.
Like we were just destroying that, and it was high
hooked, yeah.
level like show.
I mean,
Yeah.
we used to have like the chicken house parties, or not
Mhm.
parties, but like we would all get together
Watch
and get
party.
Chick-fil-A and watch Heroes, and it was dope.
Yep. Oh, the good times of being single and not
Right.
having kids to worry about.
Except for your future wife was there, but other than
Yeah, she was there. Good time. Good time. Funny time.
that,
But yeah. So anyway, I'm excited about this. I
Mhm.
really like the idea of Fallout. I really liked Fallout 4. And there was like I didn't get into the last expansion of Fallout 4 with like the ships or whatever, but I'm really excited to see how this goes. So, and Amazon really has put out some quality stuff too.
oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Amazon is like surprisingly quality. I think.
Yeah.
It's not even like it's not even close to touching Netflix and HBO as far as like their piece of the pie, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
But they're really putting out some high quality stuff, and it's pretty fantastic. I'm surprised.
Yeah, they're kind of in the Apple realm of the Apple TV Plus where they
Uh-huh.
have just like some quality stuff, but not as much. You know,
Yeah.
Netflix is like, I'm picking up everything
Yeah.
from Hollywood because we got all the money
Right.
in the world, you know?
Right.
So they're
Well-
basically picking up all the shows that weren't picked up by network television or movies that didn't get a theater release and things like that.
Yeah. Well, in Netflix and HBO too. I mean, those are like that's just TV. Like Amazon has a million things going on. So I mean, they've got
Yeah.
hardware. They've got obviously the
Amazon owns the world.
store. Yeah, I mean they have a million irons in the fire. So this for them, I mean, let's just like throw some money at it and hope it makes them some extra. That's all it comes down to. And it's the same thing for like I mean Hulu really too. I mean they've got quite. I mean that's half owned by Disney at this point. They've got a million. They've got a million different irons in the fire as well. So.
Yeah.
Good time to be a
For sure,
consumer
so-
of digital entertainment for sure.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Especially we might not see a theater
Yeah.
for a while.
Which is
you
so
know?
sad, by the way.
Ugh.
Like, I love going to the theater. I know a lot of people are like,
Yeah.
"Why would you ever go to the theater? You can just watch, your
Oh,
TV."
yeah.
I love going to the theater. I miss
No,
it.
I thoroughly enjoy it.
I do
yeah.
too. I had a monthly subscription to the local Cinemaplex.
Yeah, we
and
did
it breaks,
too.
it breaks my heart not to be able to go anymore. It really does.
Sad.
Yeah.
Tear.
I mean, they're open up around, but they're just playing old movies at this point, you know?
Yeah.
It's funny.
Frickin' China, man.
I was like, do I really want to go see Jaws in the theater? No.
Yes.
The answer is
you don't want to see
no.
Jaws in the theater? Are you kidding me? That's dope. What are you talking about?
Not necessarily. I'm just good. I've seen it. I've seen it before.
All right. I know you're scared of sharks. Wait, are you scared of sharks or alligators?
Alligators.
Alligators.
You should be scared of
being
both.
Chased by an alligator.
But mainly, alligators kill or crocodile. It's not alligators. Crocodiles kill more people than sharks.
Yeah. I don't know. Weston knows this stuff.
I have nightmares about crocodiles. We'll get that. Save that for the theology podcast.
The theology podcast. Whoa, we just went from straight biology to godology.
The alligator chases the man and he gets tackled. And
yeah.
It's a whole symbolism thing.
All right.
It's the Animal Planet. Let's do it.
I am going to personally pay for you to see a psychiatrist. Just so you know.
BetterHelp. Not sponsored by the podcast.
BetterHelp.com.
All right. Okay, cool. And then the other thing is I thought Weston could talk about this Shadowlands World of Warcraft. They had like a big conference.
Oh,
I don't know if you got a chance to see it.
Man. Dude.
But it's coming and it looks pretty sweet, like the story wise, and the main point of it was the beta launches next week. So
I'm not
take it from here. Weston.
I'm not gonna play the beta. There's been people with alpha access, and beta access. I think open beta opens.
Next week.
Yeah, and full release in the fall. So I'm not gonna play it. I've never played any of the betas or alphas. Actually, I played a little bit of one beta in the past 15 years, but of World of Warcraft expansions. But in general, I'm excited. I played every one of these expansions, and the cool thing is, for some reason, World of Warcraft has this thing where they have one really good expansion and then one mediocre one, and since the dawn of time, it's pretty much been this way.
Yeah.
And we're on the cycle of this one's going to be good, and all of the the WoW streamers and the people who are been playing like hardcore testing alpha, the high level guilds, they are all liking this expansion, which gives me hope. I liked the last one. I was fine with it. Me and Parker actually got it at 5 maybe one day and played it all the way till like 5 the next morning and got level in 10 hours or something. It was really fun. It's kind of like what we always do. So or we did this last time. Anyway, I'm excited about it. Everyone else is excited about it. I don't want to like spoil too much. There's a lot of like very technical things that we could go into with the game. But if you're a fan in the past or you've played it in the past, there's always quality of life improvements. They're also bringing back a little bit of like difficulty and to it, which is really nice. So all of the classes will be a little bit more specific and have a identity, rather than a lot of times what they did in World of Warcraft the last 2 expansions is they made every class kind of be able to do everything, which isn't fun. Like you want to, if you play a hunter or a warrior, you want them to feel like what they are and be able to do things that other classes can't. So they're kind of bringing a lot of the iconic spells and abilities back into the game, which is really nice. I'm very interested in how the story plays out. The story of this last expansion was pretty lackluster, in my opinion. I'm really into the lore and the story, and this one looks a lot better. So hopefully, we'll just I'm really excited for the expansion. I'm not going to play the alpha or beta, so I won't really. This is probably the last time we talk about it until the game comes out, or maybe it gets closer. But looking forward to it. I know you like. You guys both have backgrounds in World of Warcraft too. Aaron has like a hardcore raiding background, and Mason, we both started playing it, and we actually all played it. I think, did you start in vanilla too, Aaron?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. We all played vanilla 15 years ago, and I think I'm the only one that's continued to play it and has played every expansion since launch. So
what expansion are they on now? They're on like Horde versus Alliance or whatever.
So it's there's Burning Crusade, Wrath of the Lich King, Cataclysm, Pandaria, Legion, Battle for Azeroth. So this is the 7th expansion, and then Shadowlands.
Battle for
Okay.
Azeroth. Yeah, okay. So
Yeah.
Battle for Azeroth is the only expansion that I haven't played. And yeah,
Oh, you played Legion?
Yeah, I did. Yes,
well, that was you skipped the mediocre one because Legion was fantastic in my opinion.
Yeah, it was pretty solid. My thing with WoW is just I feel like the gameplay of it is dated at this point. When I see it, when I go back to it, it's not for me anymore. I was very very hardcore back in the day. Like, let me be clear, I raided 5 days a week, 4 hours at a time. It was church for me, basically. it was a lot, and I'm kind of glad I don't anymore because it was a little bit too addictive for me. But yeah, I mean, the story progresses. It looks interesting, but the gameplay for me, as a in my life that I'm in now with children and what have you, it's too much, and just doesn't interest me anymore personally.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, yeah. No, I mean, for me, it's just a time thing. Like, like when you have kids, you just go from like, yeah, I want to stay up till like midnight and play games to like 10 o'clock rolls around. You're like, like,
yeah,
so
exactly.
it's just, I could play for the hour and a half that I have, but I would never get anywhere. It'd take me forever to get somewhere, and raids go on for a lot longer and things like that. So, and plus, just me personally, I was never very good at the game. So, but this story definitely looks really dope, and just the trailer like made me excited for it. Like I was like, oh man, I want to play that because it just launches you into something so epic. It looks like.
Yeah, the cool thing, there's a couple just like brief things that if anyone's ever played in the past and they want to get back into. Number one is they're squishing. There's 120 levels right now. They're squishing all of the levels back to 1 to 60, and
nice.
And basically like you can quest in any expansion. So basically, like 1 to 10, you have
cool.
like you basically have your introductory and voyage. From 10 to 50, you can quest through any expansion. So if you liked Pandaria, which I personally love that expansion, and like I love just like all the zones in it, you can literally just go back and just play 10 through 50 in any expansion or Legion, whichever one you wanted to, because they have this technology now that it just adjusts per level. And then 50 to 60, you can enter the Shadowlands and then be able to do all the new content. And then there's these things like covenants, which you join up with. It's like one of 4 factions that you kind of join up with. You get special abilities. It's really cool. And you get transmog and special mounts from the factions. That's all fun. To your point of like time sinks, for sure. Like WoW definitely takes more time if you want to be competitive. The last couple expansions, I really wasn't competitive. I'm very interested in the story, the lore, the experience to play with friends. Like I have my brother plays, and then also like I have a couple other friends that still play the game, and we can play it together and just have some fun. So I'm not sinking as much time into it, even like I was. I don't know, even when I first got married or before that or whatever. Like Aaron's talking about, but I think that the gameplay is definitely very similar to when it started. They've changed it up, but the premise is the same. I love the world. I'm so invested into the characters and just like, even like the nostalgia of playing it in the past. I still really, really enjoy it. So I don't like life suck it away like I used to, where I could stay on for like 10 hours straight. Like when expansion comes out, like I might do that, but in general, I'm just gonna get on for a couple hours here and there. And play with my friends, and just we always just get in Discord like we're doing right now, and just talk and be able to enjoy the game. But this one looks good. I'm excited for it.
Yeah, it's funny because I was gonna get WoW Classic a couple months back, and I was like, yeah, what server you're on? You're like, literally, I haven't played in months, bro. Like I beat the expansion stuff, and I'm just not playing anymore. I'm like, missed it.
Yeah, it's funny too, because if you were trying to get back in Classic, even though a lot of people were playing it, it's so actually difficult. Like you don't realize how like the game has changed. They've made it friendly, so like a casual person like you who has a kid can still play the new expansions and get through them. Like you could actually, even if you had like an hour here and there, you could actually progress through them, because I think they're only like 15 hours or like like a normal video game to get from
Right.
like whatever the starting level to the max level. It's not actually that bad anymore, like what it was in the past. So, and when you were like, let's play classic, I'm like, dude, I don't think you understand how much time you have to put into
how
this.
much time this is gonna
take. And then also the quality of life improvements. Like people like it, like the hardcore people, because it's hard, like it's difficult, it's time consuming.
Yeah.
But for someone like you, like new WoW is actually way better for people that have full
less time.
just have less time, who have full lives, who have families. They just new WoW is still really good because they've made those quality of life improvements where you don't have to like literally just be a sweaty guy in your mom's basement just playing it, grinding out like we used to. And
I'm in my own basement this time.
do you have a basement in Texas?
No.
We have a storm shelter. Does that count?
But it's like above ground.
That's just where you're gonna hide your barrels of rum.
Yeah. But this expansion looks really cool. Like you said, they kind of go big and then go small and then go big, and this is the big one coming. Is there any new like class type stuff or like races or anything? Are they doing anything like that?
Yes.
Yeah, there is. There's actually a new class. It's called the Candy Maker, and you can make your own candy. Pretty dope.
Yeah,
I like that one.
I'm trying to think. I'm trying to think off the top of my head. I'd have to like read. Like I'd have to just like Google it here real quick. But they always do it, even if it's just a new. Like a lot of times, they'll do new like. I know like for instance, like the Pandaren can be Death Knights. Like that's just off the top of my head. But there's always going to be new. There's a couple new class specific things. But they've added so many since you've started playing. That there's such a variety to play, and all the models are updated. Like I don't even know if they really need. I'm sure they'll have one for each faction at least, which they normally do. Yeah. But I don't even think they really need that because every faction has like leaps. You have to do some questing, but like there's Dark Iron Dwarves now. There's like the Night Elves for not Night Elves. There's like a Twilight or Void Elves for one faction, and there's a bunch of, there's just so many different ones that you can have now. Like I don't know if they really need to if they really need to add that many more. If you know what I mean.
It's not more adding and expanding, it's refining.
Yeah, and like I said, even like the last character model, which I think is Worgen, like I think they're updating Worgen for Shadowlands too.
Oh, nice.
Like the most recent up, like because they obviously do the ones they've done last first. And then I think then they're already redoing like ones that look pretty decent. So
because I'm pretty sure Worgen came out in Cataclysm, if I remember correctly.
Yeah. So that was like the last of the first wave of guys, because there has been models, but they still the other models came out within the last expansion too. They still look really good.
You guys are making me feel really nostalgic right now, and I kind of want to play WoW. I'm trying to teach myself now too.
Aaron's definitely going to play Shadowlands with Weston.
Let's be clear, if my wife saw that I was playing WoW, she would, 1, murder me, and then 2, divorce me after I was murdered, so...
That's sad.
Yeah.
I laugh, but that's sad.
It's okay.
Yeah, but, so what are you running these days in WoW, Weston? What's your main?
Man, I have a couple, but I played Druid through this last expansion, so I had a Worgen Druid, and the time before that I had a Elemental Shaman Dwarf.
Okay.
And I actually didn't really like Druid that much, so I'm gonna do something different for this one. But I have a bunch. Like actually, Parker has 5 120s right now. I think he has every class. That's not every class, but I'm pretty sure he has more than that, because I'm pretty sure he has every class at 110 or 120.
That's crazy.
Like, and I literally, for when the pandemic hit, he literally just, because we weren't going anywhere, he was just sitting in his room, like with his iPad open, talking to his girlfriend, and also just grinding World of Warcraft characters out. Like he has a book of them. I have a free boost, and then I think 2 120s right now, and he has literally all the classes. But I'm not gonna run what I ran in Azeroth.
Yeah.
So I may have to go back, but it's, man, whatever you play, like there's a play style for everybody. I'll have to decide when it comes out.
Gotcha. Yeah, I see they're doing transmogs with mounts. That's pretty cool.
That was cool.
Yeah, and just the transmods, like the sets that you get, per covenant and stuff like that, they're really, really good.
Yeah. Cool. That's awesome. Yeah. This expansion looks pretty big. Looks pretty cool. So the cinematics just look incredible too.
And that's obviously that's the main cinematic, but even the end games cutscenes, which they've added a lot more within the last expansion or two. It just makes the game really come alive because
yeah, they went through all their dungeons and did that, didn't they? They added to a lot of them.
No, I don't think all the dungeons in general, like not all of the like the new dungeons, yes, but not like all the old ones.
Okay. All
yeah,
right.
but a lot of the new ones have cutscenes.
Okay, cool. Awesome. Well, yeah, cool. Unless there's anything else you guys want to talk about, I think that's pretty cool. Look for that in the fall, and you can do the public beta opt-in right now. So.
I think we should make a straw poll and see of how many votes that we're gonna get if Aaron's gonna play World of Warcraft with me secretly. Like this is gonna be our dirty secret.
No.
Like where I somehow send him a copy accidentally, and then and also a secret computer where he goes to his cellar and like drinks rum and he drinks rum and just plays with me. Like I actually send him
Aaron's just gonna be coming to the office at night.
First of all, I don't know how much rum you think that I drink. It's not much. I generally prefer bourbon.
Okay,
so...
I was just thinking about a pirate and his stash, but okay. You're straight bottles of whiskey, whatever you want to call it. Either way, this ends with you playing Shadowlands with me, 100%.
I mean, if you buy it for me, I'll play.
I haven't played.
Hey, we're adults. Why would I not
much
buy
rum? I haven't drank much rum since the field.
Oh God,
man.
the rum almost killed us. So maybe stay away from that stuff.
That's true, actually. All you cool cats and kittens listen to this. Don't drink any rum. Ever.
Yeah,
not good.
Unless you're with your homies and you're ready to die with them.
If this is a ride or die situation, absolutely drink the rum, but otherwise don't drink it.
Yeah, we'd advise against all of it.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, I think that's all we got to say on this one. Look for some Link to the Past next week. Aaron's road update on his move. That'll be glorious. Pipe him into the podcast. It'll be a good time. And I'm done with Link to the Past just about. So I've been playing that a lot with my son. He's really enjoyed it.
Nice.
Kind of funny. Nice. Been like, Daddy, go there. Go in that door. Why didn't you go in there? It's pretty funny. Trying to figure these dungeons out. But I am going to pick up Iron Man VR this weekend too. So I'll have a little bit. I've heard it's really good. So I'm going to have a little bit of a rundown on that next week as well. So
nice.
Look out for all that stuff.
Nice.
I think this is the first podcast we've had that we haven't mentioned Stadia or brought to you by Stadia.
Oh, man, I was trying to get through it without it.
You can cut that out if you want. It's fine.
It's already there, man.
Yeah.
You've whispered it into the universe.
Nah.
It's etched. It's etched into existence. Play Stadia or whatever.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, you know what? Get PlayStation 4. PS4 Now is celebrating its 10th anniversary or 15th anniversary with what's it? It's Tomb Raider, the new Tomb Raider that came out like a million years ago. That Stadia came out like 8 months ago as a launch title. But yeah, do that and sign up to PlayStation 4 Now, and it's pretty great.
All right, cool. Well, not sponsored by any of that, but do it anyway. Give us money. All right, guys. Well, it's been real, and we'll see you next week.
Yeah. Until next time, we'll see you next time.
Yeah.
Weston, do you have a sign off yet, bro?
Yeah.
What's your sign off?
Hey, it's a secret. I can't tell you.
What? But that's not the point of a sign off, though. You have to say it out loud.
If you'd like to send us a message, you can email us at kitgpodcast@gmail.com or tweet us at KITG Podcast on Twitter.